بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أرحب بكم الأخوات والأخوان في هذه الأمسية، أحد المحاضرات الإلكترونية الشهرية لمجلسكم، المجلس السعودي للجودة. وضيفنا في هذا اللقاء هذه الليلة سيد سنيل سينها. I'm sorry, Mr. Sunil, I'm gonna just give some housekeeping introduction in Arabic. Then I will shift to your CV and introducing you إن شاء الله. الأخوة والأخوات، كما عودناكم يوجد لدينا اليوم بإذن الله تعالى كالعادة ترجمة فورية. كل اللي تحتاجوه إنه الذهاب أسفل الشاشة والضغط على ثلاث نقاط موجودة أسفل شاشة الزوم. تعطيكم سكرين ثانية هنا بين اللانجوج انتربريتيشن. اختاروا اللانجوج انتربريتيشن ثم اختيار اللغة العربية للسماع للترجمة، أو في حالة عدم اختيار أي شيء هتستمعوا للصوت المتحدث الأصلي كما هو. أيضا يمكن إظهار إخفاء الصوت المتحدث باللغة الإنجليزية عند تفعيل الأيقونة هذه اللي موجودة ميوت أوريجينال أوديو. يرجى مراعاة أن الصوت المتحدث باللغة الإنجليزية في حال الاستماع للترجمة سيكون منخفض. هنا نذكركم أنه بلدنا الغالي المملكة العربية السعودية ستشهد حدث تاريخي، حدث يعتبر عرس الجودة وعرس المهتمين بالجودة في بلادنا الغالية. هذا الحدث هو المؤتمر الوطني الثامن للجودة، والذي سيعقد بحول الله تعالى في التاريخ من 6 إلى 8 جون الشهر القادم، الأسبوع القادم، وسيكون في مركز الملك سلمان الدولي للمؤتمرات في المدينة المنورة. أرجو متابعة ما يخص هذا الحدث على حساب المؤتمر المدون أدناه في تويتر، وحسابه أيضا في اللينكدين، تجدون هناك كل التفاصيل. تعالى أيضا عندنا ضمن لقاءاتنا في المجلس السعودي للجودة بإذن الله تعالى سيكون عندنا ورشة عمل حضورية، أخوان أخوات، حضورية من الساعة 9:30 صباحا إلى الساعة 2:30 ظهرا بإذن الله تعالى في 18 جون 19 ذو القعدة بإذن الله تعالى. زي ما توضح في الإعلان، حيكون متحدث الأخ الدكتور عوض الحربي، وهو خبير في مجال نظام إدارة الابتكار الآيزو 56002 2020. إن شاء الله حتلاقوه في حسابات المجلس السعودي للجودة في التويتر وفي اللينكدين إن شاء الله تعالى. هذا البرنامج السنوي لفعاليات المجلس. هذا إن شاء الله الآن نحن بإذن الله تعالى في الشهر القادم في جون حيكون عندنا تقريبا بعض الإعلانات وبعض المنشورات الخاصة باليوم العالمي للاعتماد، ثم حيكون عندنا الورشة اللي تم الإعلان عنها، ثم حيكون عندنا يعني لقاء ختامي، ملتقى ختامي، وهو المحاضرة الإلكترونية رقم 7 في 21 جون. كونوا معنا وإن شاء الله تجدوا يعني كل منفعة وفائدة تقدم لكم عن طريق مجلسكم المبارك المجلس السعودي للجودة. الأخوة والأخوات، الحصول على شهادة الحضور نأمل مشكورين إرسال بريد إلكتروني إلى info@sqc.org.sa يتضمن الاسم كامل ومسمى اللقاء وصورة من الحوالة البنكية بسداد رسوم الشهادة 50 ريال على رقم الحساب المبين في بنك البلاد. شاكرين لكم دعمكم ومساندتكم للمجلس السعودي للجودة. Now it's my pleasure, Mr. Sunil, to introduce you, having you today tonight with us. حقيقة, in fact, we are happy to have you talking about Tata Business Excellence Journey, a race without a finish line. Mr. Sunil Sinha, he is a former resident director for Middle East and North Africa Tata Sun Private Limited. He has nearly 4 decades experience in leadership. Mr. Sunil has held a variety of leadership positions in the areas of business and in business of excellence, also in Tata Group. Mr. Sunil serves as the boards of several international companies, including Tata International West Asia, Dubai, and until recently, he was resident director of Tata Sun, as I said. Mr. Sunil, prior to his role in Tata, he was actually served as the Chief Executive Officer of Tata Business Excellence Group, and he was responsible for group-wide implementation of business excellence, innovation, sustainability, safety, and corporate governance. I'm sure with his rich experience, we're going to have a lot of information and valuable knowledge that help us in our, as real best practices in our organization. Mr. Sunil also has global contribution and thought leadership in business excellence, and recognized by the Malcolm Baldrige Foundation, which led to his appointment to their board in 2015. And in 2019, Business Week recognized him as one of the 25 Masters of Innovation in the world. He is also elected as an academician, as one of the, academician in the prestigious International Academy for Quality, IAQ, and he actually serves as the Vice President, Vice Chair of IAQ think tank on quality and sustainability. Mr. Sunil, I'm sure with your experience, we're gonna have a lot of, valuable contribution tonight. And just to keep it short, I'll leave the floor for you. And we are proud having you to start your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Salem. Very kind, very generous introduction by you. I am also thankful to the Executive Committee of Saudi Quality Council for having invited me for this webinar. And a very big thanks to my dear friend and brother, Ayad Amri, for inviting me to share my thoughts. So allow me to share a presentation that I'm going to share with you. And this presentation is about the Tata's business excellence journey.
One thing, Mr. Sunil, I want just to remind everybody here that if they have any question, please drop it in the Q&A box. So we'll take care of it at the end of the presentation. Shukran, thank you.
So, so this is, in this presentation, I'm not going to talk about any highly technical aspect of quality management, TQC, but what I'm going to talk about, how a large-scale transformation in any company or in any country is managed, and how Tatas have managed it. And this is a story about Tata, and I was very closely associated with this story for almost 30 years, and therefore I have chosen to call this story a race without a finish line. And this is the story of business excellence journey of the Tata Group in India, which is now truly an international group. Over about 25 years back, Tata Group adopted a business excellence program in the group, and today I'm going to share the highlights and insights of those 25 years. So people say pictures say 1,000 words. So I would like to play a video clip for you just to help you understand the context and complexities of this group. And so when I make the presentation, you will see it in that context of what Tata Group is all about. So here is the video, a 3-minute clip on what is Tata Group.
In 1868, the Tata Group was founded on a philosophy that put the community at the heart of is about delivering excellence across business sectors. At its core. Our today is dedicated to the communities we serve. Just today. Our today is a continuous journey for a better tomorrow. Tata, leadership with trust.
I'm very happy to share with you that Tatas also have a large presence in Saudi Arabia. We have about 10 to 12 businesses in Saudi Arabia in the areas of automobiles, in the area of hotel. We are building a hotel in Mecca. We have all women BPO center run by TCS in Riyadh, and in addition there are engineering companies which are working out of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So if you see Tata Group today, it has a heritage of 150 years, a revenue of $103 billion, the market cap of $242 billion, and a worldwide human capital of over 800,000 employees in about 100 countries. As you have seen in the short video, this group has businesses in diverse sectors like steel. They have business in power, automotive, information technology, financial services, aerospace and defense, travel and tourism, customer and retail, telecom and media, and the latest acquisition has been India's national carrier Air India, which was a part of Tata 60-70 years back. Now it has become again part of Tata. So this group is often called salt to software group. Transform or perish is the reality in today's world. And many of you listening to this presentation would have experienced how very large organizations sometimes find it very difficult to transform themselves because they tend to suffer from a baby elephant syndrome. You can see a baby elephant on the left hand side of the slide. In olden days, in circuses, I don't know whether you had an opportunity to see the circuses when we were small. Some of you may have seen the baby elephants chained in captivity, and how they find it hard to overcome the imaginary constraint of those chains even after they have grown full size. I think organizations and countries are no different. And they also often find it extremely difficult to come out of the paradigm which made them successful in the past. And just to substantiate this point, you can see it in the chart that in 1955, the Fortune 500 companies contributed to 35% of USA's GDP. And in 2015, this figure increased to 72%, 35 to 72%. And hence, one can argue that large company plays a very important role in the economy of the country. Same is true for India, same is true for Saudi Arabia. You know, we have large companies like Saudi Aramco, SABIC, and likes of that who play a huge role in the economy of the country. Similarly, in India, we have Tatas, we have Adani, we have Ambani. These companies play a huge role in the economy of the country. Yet, we see that the mortality rate, which was there between 75 and 95, was 45%. And that mortality rate climbed to 57% between 95 and 2015. And you would recall example of Blockbusters, example of Borders, example of Kodak, example of A&P. These are reminders of the failures of companies to transform. So large and thriving companies often die overnight. Therefore, transformation is not an option, but it is a necessity to be embraced. I will now talk about the transformation, what it requires, how it happens, and how Tata Company did some of the transformational initiatives. So, burning platform. I think for a successful transformation, there are two things which are very important. One, a burning platform, and another, a leader who can steer the organization through the turmoil. Fortunately, we had both in place in the Tata Group. 3 decades back, way back in 91, the economic liberalization of India served as a burning platform not only for Tata but all the corporate sector and government sectors. And fortunately, around the same time, Mr. Ratan Tata emerged in the Tata Group as a transformational leader. You can see the same story happening in Saudi Arabia, where the spiraling down of oil prices, twice, last one in 2015-16, and the aspirations of people in the kingdom served as a burning platform for the kingdom to change its economy, from diversify its economy from just an oil-based economy to a very, very diverse economy. And what transformational changes are taking place today in Saudi Arabia, be it cultural front, be it economic front, be it social front. Lot of transformation are taking place. and you have a leader, the Crown Prince, His Highness Mohammed bin Salman, more popularly known as MBS in other part of the world. He is leading the transformational journey right from the front. So whenever there are transformation, whenever there are quality, excellence program, innovation program, you will find that a series of initiatives are taken to institutionalize those excellence in and similar thing happened in Tata Group when a series of initiatives were taken to institutionalize excellence in a fragmented group. So I always say a large scale transformation is like a grand orchestra where several instruments play simultaneously to create a symphony. Similarly, in Tata Group, many levers were used to institutionalize excellence program. Many people I have heard saying, do we have to do so many things? Do we have to do Six Sigma? Do we have to do CMMI? Do we have to do some other initiative? And I think, yes, one has to do at different point of time because the large scale transformation will require a lot of things to be done. So similar to Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Program, the Tata Group instituted a JRD QV award to create an aspirational goal for excellence. And this award was instituted in 1994. After instituting this award, a never-ending business excellence journey was initiated under the TBEM program, and I'll talk about TBEM program very, very shortly. And we also believe that if you need to make sustainable, permanent change, then some people will have to spend 100% of their time in managing that change. And in Tata companies, a new position was created, and that was called corporate quality heads, who reported directly to CEO to lead the TBEM program. So you can see that number of initiatives were started, and I'll talk about some of these initiatives, not all, about how it helped Tata companies to institutionalize excellence. So first of all, a very interesting program was started, which is called Brand Equity Business Promotion, BEBP. Under this program, the Tata Group said that any company which has to use Tata brand, and you see Tata brand on this booklet, Code of Conduct on the right hand side, that's the Tata brand. It was made compulsory for Tata companies to adopt the business excellence program and embark on the business excellence journey. If you don't do that, you were not allowed to use Tata brand. So business excellence became the DNA of the group. Not only that, the companies were told that if you do not reach certain scores on business excellence during certain time frame, then Tata name can be withdrawn from your company. So I think that was a carrot and stick which was given to the companies to quickly adopt the business excellence journey. And I think this was a master stroke for institutionalizing excellence in the group. You know, very often we have seen, and you would have seen all over the world, that excellence programs are initiated with the ambition of winning award, and it is guided by a few passionate leaders. But what happens when these leaders move out? Excellence bleeds out of the organization. And we have seen many, many cases in India, also in Tata Company, where leaders moved out, and excellence program became less important. So it is very important to institutionalize excellence, to do things which makes it irreversible completely. So the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about for institutionalizing excellence, the Tata Group created a Tata Business Excellence Group. And I was the CEO of this group. And this is an expert group which was created at the highest level, reporting directly to Mr. Ratan Tata. This group today is responsible for facilitating excellence in the group. And we adopted a four-pronged approach for embedding excellence in the group, and you can see it on the chart. First of all, in the center, first thing which was important, that was maintaining and upgrading standards. Adopt, maintain and upgrade standards. And in our case, it was development of Tata Business Excellence Model, TBEM, and I will also talk about it subsequent slides. We developed standards for excellence, standards for sustainability, standards for innovation, and standards for safety. So you need some standard against which the companies can make the changes, companies can advance in their journey. Number two, capability building is very important, and therefore we initiated the training program for business leaders, training program for excellence practitioners, and training program for TBEM assessors. And I'll talk about these in the subsequent slides. The fourth thing that we realize, that we need a diagnostic process, we need an assessment process, and therefore the annual TBEM assessment supplemented by deep dive improvement oriented assessments were initiated. And finally, the best practice sharing through the process of knowledge platform, through the process of learning missions, through the process of webinars like this, and through the process of external relationships. And this was also found to be extremely useful for making sure that you give momentum to the excellence process. So I'll talk one by one for about all these all four initiatives. So the first one, Tata Business Excellence Model, TBEM, which is fashioned on the lines of Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award of USA. In early days, we learned unabashedly from the Baldrige program. TBEM has really changed the definition of quality in the group. Earlier, I'm talking about late 80s and early 90s. The understanding of quality, and you would have seen in many organizations in your country also, that understanding of quality was only associated with product quality or service quality, or simply meeting the requirements of internal or external customers. And this single stakeholder view of quality, which is called small q, because it is a narrow vision of quality. But now, after 30 years, The quality means managing the expectations of multiple stakeholders by continuously improving organizational management systems. What are these management systems? These can be governance system, leadership system, supply chain system, customer management system, or human resource management system. So this view of quality is known as big Q because it encompasses every aspect of organizational functioning. And this big Q quality focuses on developing a culture of continuous improvement and innovation in everything that we do. It doesn't leave any function aside. It also means that remaining ahead of competition all the time. But there is one more level of quality, and the highest level of quality is probably embedded in Tata's byline. And the byline of Tata is leadership with trust, which means managing quality by doing right things which evoke trust amongst all stakeholders. So that's the three definitions of quality which I gave you: small q to big Q to creating trust amongst all stakeholders. So when we started the journey in the last 20-30 years, the TBEM has changed the language and vocabulary adopted by Tata companies because there were a lot of new things which we started talking about. We started talking about benchmarking. We started talking about strategy planning. We started talking about customer centricity. We started talking about lag measures and lead measures. And we started talking about fact-based decision making. These were unheard of in late 80s and early 90s. Again, employee engagement, maturity of process, continuous improvement was never heard in the past. So this whole quality movement started creating new vocabulary, new language, new methodology, new science, which people started learning, and it gradually started improving the performance of every company. Second thing, what was very important, that once you adopt TBM, it should not become a static model. It has to be a living model. So what we did was we ensured that the Tata Business Excellence model continuously evolved and demanded a high level performance from all our companies. And you can see in this slide that over time we integrated key thrust areas of the group. And I will just touch upon this, not spend time, because if I start spending time on each one of them, probably we'll be sitting here the whole night. So, but we included globalization in 2014, we included climate change, we included innovation, we included safety, we included data maturity, we included customer value creation. So what was done, instead of these having separate initiatives, they were all brought under the big umbrella of TBEM, so that people do not say we are having too many things. What we said, we are doing business excellence, and these are the elements of business excellence. I told you that training was very important, and people, line managers, used to think training is like a holiday. You go to enjoy, and so it was seen as a time waster. I'm talking about 80s and 90s. But we realized training is critical for changing mindsets and building people's capability. So in the group, in all companies, they were carpet bombed with training. So much of training, no one was excused. Some CEOs made a rule that you can only miss the training if you are physically unfit, declared by a doctor. Otherwise, you cannot miss a training. So a message was given that training is very important and nobody should miss it. Every year, we trained about 3,000 managers to become examiners, to become assessors, and this went on and on for decades. And today we have pool of about 2,000 assessors who can look at the business in a very, very different manner, in a very holistic manner. And now TBEM training has become essential part of the leadership development. You can see that TBEM assessment is very important, and the companies have to stay on the course. So here you can see number of Tata companies right from 95 to 2020, 21. Every year companies come for assessment, TBEM assessment, and we see their performance year on year. And it creates a virtuous cycle of assessment and improvement. Today in Tata Group, if you tell someone, how are you doing? They'll say, okay, we will assess it, come back to you about what are our strengths and weaknesses, and we will improve. So that is that's the advantage of the training that is being done for so many years. So you can see 800 TBEM assessments were carried out by 6,000 assessors, mammoth exercise, but this exercise has changed the DNA of the group. And it is no longer a flavor of the month, and that is the biggest difference that Tata Group has been able to manage. Now, assessments were also initially, they used to give a plain vanilla category wise report, which was very defensive, very benign. But over a period of time, the company started asking, expecting much more from the feedback report, and therefore key theme driven report was produced. Reports were produced, given to the board members. Companies started asking comments on the robustness of their strategy, and this was tough. It was not easy to do. So we also included CEOs of different companies to become mentor and comment on the strategy of the company. So, you know, this, you must have been familiar with this. This is the Baldrige ladder for measuring improvement from 0 to 1,000 point, and every step became a sort of a milestone in the journey to excellence. So companies every year look for stepping one step up and things like that. So this continues. This chart shows how the average score on 1,000 has advanced despite adding so many new companies in America, in USA, in UK, in Japan, in Korea, in Singapore. The excellence journey has kept advancing. Best practice, as I said, it is very important for a group like Tata's, because we wanted to shorten the learning curve of each company. And I think this is also very important for Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, because the expectations, the pace is very rapid, and therefore we don't have the luxury, liberty of learning from too many failures. We have to learn from the best of the processes, implement it, and shorten the total learning curve from one company to another. So it is very important that we do not reinvent the wheel. So we initiated a lot of methodologies. One thing which has helped us to learn a lot, we learned by seeing. We said seeing is believing. So every time, whether it was innovation or business excellence, we took our CEOs to see the best of the companies in USA, in Japan, talk to their counterparts, look at the process, how do they manage excellence, and when they see that, they come back with a renewed commitment of taking it forward in their organization. So that's something which has helped us quite a lot. Conferences has helped us quite a lot. We have shamelessly been saying steal best practices shamelessly. Do not hesitate in learning from the best practices. So another thing was that to make quality a way of life in any business, it is necessary to create a right culture, and this can only happen by leadership driving from the front and embedding quality in the matrices of organizational performance. And therefore, the role of leadership cannot be overstated. You can see in this quote, Mr. Ratan Tata emphasized right in the beginning that this journey is not about awards. It is about institutionalizing approach to drive performance excellence. So that was something very important. I want to share a very interesting practice that Tata Group started, and that was called Dare to Try, which is nothing but intelligent risk taking. And I would like to talk a little bit about it. You know, every organization knows that risk taking is critical for innovation, yet they don't know how to promote risk in a credible and practical manner. How can creative, intelligent risk taking be encouraged? And when I'm talking about intelligent risk taking, it doesn't mean that if you are supposed to make donut and if you fail every day in making donut, then people will reward you or recognize you. In Tata Group, we introduced an award called Dare to Try to promote risk taking. And under this category, projects which failed, people who failed in doing something bold, people who wanted to establish something big, they failed, they were called and publicly recognized by none other than Ratan Tata. And the reason was that we wanted to learn from failure. We didn't want people to brush the failure under the carpet. And therefore, we learned a lot from why projects are failing. And today, the culture has changed from blameworthy to learn-worthy. Now people don't blame someone or something, but they try to learn from the failure. And this program was worldwide so celebrated that on a personal front, I was invited to address the Future of Energy platform in Harvard Business School. And as Engineer Salam mentioned, that Business Week recognized me as one of the masters of innovation. So very well recognized program. It is still working very well. You can see in 2018 only 17 projects came because people thought if they talk about failure they will lose their job or they will lose their increment. Today we have 1100 projects which have been shared by people as a learn-worthy project. Now, what happened with all these during this process? that business excellence has created capabilities in Tata companies to compete successfully both in domestic and international markets. And in the last decade and a half, Tata Group has made a lot of strategic investments and acquisitions of global brands, and some of them are presented here. I am not saying all this has happened because of business excellence, but business excellence played an important role in creating that capability which can give them confidence to compete with the best in the world. And during the same period, Tatas have achieved global and domestic leadership in many areas, and you can see both on left hand and right hand side how different businesses have become number one, number two, and number three over a period of time. So let's see how Tata Group looked in 1990s and how does it look now. So in the last 25 years, the group has grown 25 times in terms of revenue. The group, which was predominantly India-based, today has significant global footprint. Our international revenue is over 65%. The brand survey says that, the market cap is 242 billion. It was 10 billion earlier. The brand value is close to 22 billion. So this is how in 25 years the group has changed. Some time back, the Baldrige people carried out a cost benefit analysis of adopting Malcolm Baldrige criteria. And this research has shown that direct saving to the organization is 3 times. Financial benefit due to increased customer satisfaction is 107 times, and benefit to the overall American economy because of Baldrige is 820 times. Now this has also been acclaimed by White House as Baldrige program, what it has contributed. So do we still need to be convinced that business excellence has to be the way of life? It is very clear we don't need to convince people about that. And now look at some of the lessons learned, last part, some of the lessons learned. And the first lesson that we learned in our 25 years of journey is that don't wait until you are ready. Many companies suffer from this syndrome. Sometimes they feel business is not doing well. Sometimes there is a leadership change. Sometimes they feel market forces are not favorable. There are never a dearth of reason why it should not be done. But the fact is, there is never an ideal time to embark on transformational journey. And therefore, remember Nike's ad byline, just do it. That's the best time to do. Learning number 2, and I have alluded to that, but I would like to allude once again that leadership needs to walk the talk. And leadership plays a very important role in the process of transformation. I have in the last 35 years not seen a single successful and sustainable transformation without visible and active involvement of leadership. And in our companies and outside also, we have seen 4 types of leadership. Number 1, those who are cynical and they have perpetual excuse that these things will not work in our environment. Our business is different, our culture is different, and you will come across many such leaders in your journey to excellence. There are those who think it is not my agenda. somebody else will handle it, CEO will handle it, quality group will handle it, and they are low in commitment, passively resistant. They say right things when they are in the conference room, but just the opposite when they go to their workplace. The third leadership, they can't walk the talk. They will make a lot of noise, lot of motion, but nothing will move. And finally, we have evangelist, early adopters whom we all love. And the leadership challenge is how to convert dysfunctional managers into evangelists. Our third lesson is communicate, communicate, communicate. There is nothing called over communication. Everyone needs to understand why and how of change, excellence, transformation, his or her personal role in the entire journey. And great companies, as I mentioned, they carpet bomb the organization about the need to change, about what should be their role, so that there is no resistance going forward. Our fourth learning is that the TBEM framework, Malcolm Baldrige, EFQM, or Japanese Deming model, these are all business excellence navigation systems. If you want to undertake a journey to an unknown place, what do we need? We need a navigation system. Similarly, if you want to become religious, what do you need? You need to adopt any religion. You adopt Islam, you adopt Christianity, you adopt Hinduism, you adopt Buddhism, whatever, and perform prayers and rituals, and then you become more and more religious. Similarly, all these framework, Baldrige, EFQM, Deming, they serve as a navigation system for business excellence, and these are necessary to keep you on the right track. But more importantly, the business excellence framework is just an insight provider. The great companies use several solution providers such as Six Sigma, ISO, CMMI, Lean, continuous improvement, etc., etc. And it is much like a game of golf where framework helps you to understand the journey from tee off to 18th hole, but various clubs are required to play your game excellently, and these clubs are like quality tools. So these are our learning, and as I mentioned, Baldrige Foundation took a note of how Tatas have implemented Baldrige framework globally in the group, and in 2015 they appointed me as the first non-American member on its board. So before I come to the end of the presentation, I would like to play a 1-minute video clip of George Benson, who is standing right ahead of me, man in yellow tie, and he is immediate past chair of the Baldrige Foundation, and he takes keen interest in Tata's business excellence journey. So when we asked him, what do you see Tata's business excellence journey? This is what he had to say.
And when I really dug into the Tata situation and what Tata's doing, I said, oh my gosh, they've actually started to do some of these things. We're not doing them here in the United States. They're doing them. That was exciting. So that motivated me even more. What's been achieved has been incredible. You can take one company and apply the Baldrige criteria over a number of years, but to keep it going beyond 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years is really a challenge. But now you talk about taking upwards of 100 companies, including subsidiaries and so forth, with Tata, and keep that going for 25 years, that's remarkable. This is world class. Tata is a role model that we all should be looking to.
Thank you. So with this, I come to the end of my presentation. Thank you once again for the opportunity given to me to share the Tata story. I hope the story about the race without a finish line will have some good insights for you, and hope that you take these lessons and create even better the excellence journey for wherever you are working. So good luck and God bless, and happy to take any question.
Thank you
I
very
will
much.
stop sharing it.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really liked it and I enjoyed it. I'm sure all audience here, they enjoyed it very much. Thank you. It was very world class. I mean, experiment and best practices. I like a lot of things here. When you talked about the Tata experience and your contribution to the business excellence. One thing I want just to make a comment, and I need your, your comment on actually. You have talked about the benefit of the companies that adopted Markham Baldrige. And that was very much, this is the first time I've been in this business a long time ago, but the first time I can see tangible benefit. I can call it return of excellence, equivalent to what they say, return of investment, ROI, ROE. So, كمان the same thing. Fortunately, we have now King Abdulaziz International Quality Award. It is in the 6th round nowadays, and different organizations, the private and the government and the third sector, they are supposed to submit their submission report for this award. Kindly, what you can say to them in order just to encourage them to join this valuable model or such King Abdulaziz Quality Award?
So, this is like I used to tell my companies that one need not be convinced about the benefit of going to the gym or doing yoga or doing meditation. It is you don't need a number to prove. But sometime back, line managers need more convincing, and they need to know the numbers. They need to know how and why should they put their leadership time into this. So what we had done 15 years back is we commissioned a study, and personally I got involved with University of Maryland, a professor in University of Maryland, and we looked at different Tata companies in their last 10 years and looked at 4-5 parameters, just 4-5 parameters. Looked at their revenue, their profitability, their ROCE, their working capital, their customer satisfaction, and looked at how these are related to the business excellence score. So we did a statistical analysis and created a correlation coefficient between organizational performance and the business excellence score on a 1,000-point scale. And we found that the correlation coefficient was very, very high for companies who were doing well in the business excellence journey. So time to time we refresh that exercise, and I'll be very happy to share that study with you.
Sure.
And we need to do that kind of thing. We need to bring outside people to share their journey, because sometimes they believe more outside people than inside people, and we have done it many times. And so line managers, they want to do right things, but sometimes they take time, they are not convinced.
Good. I have a question here from Mr. Salman Al-Zahrani. He's asking what is the most challenges were faced in the initial stage of adapting excellence in Tata?
Mr. Salman, we a lot of challenges were faced in excellence journey. The number one challenge was always that is the leadership fully involved or not? So how do we involve leadership? But very important challenge always used to be how to align the organization, because if the organization is not aligned right from the uh, vision to the objectives to the parameters, strategic parameters, to the balance scorecard, to people's KRAs and benefits and all, uh, a lot of time energy gets wasted. And so, if you ask me, what is one thing that you would like to do in order to make sure that excellence starts working well, I would say I'll put my money on aligning the organization and creating matrices and parameters which are all aligned to the big picture strategy of the company. So that is something which is.
You just reminded me with a statement said by one of the CEO saying, no harmony, no company.
Exactly.
So this is exactly the alignment, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly the alignment. I'm going to steal this saying.
Feel free, please. Mr. Abdulaziz Al-Namla is saying, he said it sounds that there was a big impact of leadership on the excellence in Tata. And as he's asking, how can be the leader, influence and passion to the excellence?
So it is something which is a necessary, it's a necessity, a necessary condition, but not sufficient condition. Without leadership, active involvement, excellence journey cannot even start. But just by leadership involvement, excellence journey cannot continue. So it is the necessary first step. And you are right that in Tata Group, leadership were aligned very quickly. As I said, first by telling the companies that if you don't embark on the business excellence journey, the Tata name will not be given to you. That was a big push for business excellence. Most importantly, Mr. Tata, he used to attend every award program himself. He used to give award himself. He used to every year review the business excellence twice in a year and ask questions. Why is this company's human resource score not going up? Why is the strategy not going up? Why is this company not doing in customer centricity well? So he used to ask questions. And when leadership asks right questions, things start happening. And therefore, it is very important that leadership involvement and their participation and their interest remains, and rest of the people then start falling in line.
Excellent. Can you talk about, do you have in Tata sort of leadership development programs? How you make leaders?
So yes, we have various leadership programs. So number one, there is a program called Tata Administrative Services, where very high potential people are recruited in the company, young people, age group of 23 to 27, 28, and they are given a very special fast track rotational program and special tasks where they are put on a fast learning curve and they grow to become the company leaders. But in addition, different companies adopt different methodologies. Like I used to work in Tata Steel Company, and what steel company had adopted was to rotate people from one function to another function, and rotate in such functions which are absolutely new to you.
Yeah.
For example, I am a mechanical engineer by education, but I was sent to quality, then I was sent to international trading, then I was sent to shipping chartering, then I was sent to human resources. And so all the time you are on a learning curve, and good leaders are those who learn fast and who can implement. There is another good thing that used to be done, that select people were put under as executive assistant to senior good leaders, because there is no substitute to learning from people. And
Okay.
these people used to work for 2 years with those executives
Yeah.
and pick up a lot
Yeah, I
of,
think there is a lot of techniques like coaching, mentoring, and this
yes,
kind of thing.
for coaching, mentoring,
Yeah,
and all.
thank you
Yes.
very much. Allow me, Mr. Sunil, just to remind our team to show a survey for our event tonight, because we want just to listen to our customer as part of our strategy and mission. While they are filling this survey, I have a question from Mr. Amar KK. He's saying how much it costs for a company to get the benefit of the excellence and implement its program.
How much it costs the company.
Yeah, yeah. Is it costly to get the benefit? I mean, and how much? I don't know.
So as I showed in America, they have shown a cost benefit of 107% directly to the company. And we also realized that you have seen in last 25 years, Tatas have grown 25 times. And it became international company. The brand value has grown, the market cap has grown. So there is just the return for on investment is so high that you can't even look at the cost. And what is the cost? The cost is mainly in terms of some people who will be driving it full time. The cost will be in terms of some programs, which is just minuscule as compared to what the benefits of the programs are.
Yeah. I think this remind me with Philip Crosby saying his book,
Quality
Quality.
is free.
Yes, free.
Yeah, you are right. Absolutely.
Yeah. We have a question from Mr. Muad Al-Musallam. He's talking about internal communication. How you can, I mean, he needs your input just about the utilizing the initiative of internal communication to enrich the values among the people inside the company.
Yes, it's a very good question, and I think this is a very important point, and I want to give him a story. Today it may not be so valid, but still I want to give you the story. When we started this journey in 1990, we bombarded the organization with this concept of small q to big Q. And at shop floor, we just used to explain in their language what is big Q and what is the role of people in big Q. What is the definition of big Q? And we used to everywhere show a journey from small q to big Q, journey from small q to big Q. We said product quality is important, but we are talking about organizational quality. We are talking about quality of every function. We are talking about quality of every process. So that communication was very important, and it helped align the company very fast. Although in 1990 we took time, 1 year we ran the campaign small q to big Q among 75,000 employees. After 1 year we took a survey and we realized that the awareness was not so high. So some of the managers who were very skeptic, they got a chance and they got up in the conference room and they said a donkey can become a better donkey, not a horse. And, and the CEO was so committed. He said, "No, we'll continue the communication." And he continued the communication. And within 5 years, this company became the #1 company as per the World Steel Dynamics.
I see.
So,
yeah, you're right, 100%. There are always people resistant to change, you know.
yes, yes.
So,
So communication is very, very important.
yeah, good. There is a question here regarding the TBEM. I am 100% with adapting internal model among the company. But when you think the company are ready to adapting internal model, I mean, is there any prerequisite for this?
So you are absolutely right. We should not start with internal model because people trust more some international model. And for example, for a very long time, we continue, even today, we continue with the Malcolm Baldrige model. That model is the basis of our framework. We have not deviated, but we added some more things, some more elements into that. And I think only when the maturity of the company grows and when number of initiatives are required in the company, at that time we should bring all these under same umbrella, but not initially. Initially, the company should practice on a tested model. That will be much better. People even argue between EFQM and Baldrige model. There is hardly any difference. Whichever you use, it depends on how you use.
Yeah.
So models are all alike. It depends on how well do you use these models.
Good. Another question here from Mr. Ayman Ashraf is saying how to prepare the training programs and how to measure its effectiveness.
What we used to do is you have to prepare training program for different level of people. For example, shop floor workers, the training program used to be very, very simple, and we used to help them to understand the concept of cost of poor quality, because that is what they make or don't make at the shop floor. We used to teach them only small Q and big Q. That's the thing. At the leadership level, we used to train people about the transformational journey, about their role, about how a successful transformation excellence program is run in an organization. At the middle level, we used to teach people a lot of tools and techniques. For example, 7QC tools or Six Sigma or Lean Six Sigma. We used to involve people in doing the project, FMEA project and quality improvement project and quality improvement activities. So I think these training programs are designed for different level of people. One size fit all doesn't work. And some programs were for 2 hours, some programs were for 2 days, some programs were for 3 days, and some programs were for 6 days, and some were for 6 weeks also. When we wanted to train the trainers, create the expert commandos in the quality commandos, then we trained them for 6 weeks on software skill, on statistical skills, on problem solving skills, everything. So training is that.
So it's all about how to customize the training to them.
How to customize it, training, yes.
Okay, good.
But always leadership training, we used to do it by getting an outsider, because the leaders, very senior people, they are more amenable to outsiders than insiders.
Okay, good. We're going to have a last question here by Baha Q1. He's saying, what is the difference between organizational excellence, quality management, business process management? Which is the umbrella?
These are all, terms used interchangeably. When we are talking, Japanese people call it TQM, and they say TQM encompasses everything. Americans say performance excellence, and performance excellence encompasses everything. In India, we say business excellence. It encompasses everything. But under the overall business excellence, TQM or performance excellence umbrella, there is process excellence. There is people excellence. There is human resource excellence. There is systems excellence. So these are all elements of the overall umbrella of business excellence.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sunil. It's my pleasure to be with you today, and on behalf of my colleague in the Saudi Quality Council and all audience here, we give you a big thank for your valuable contribution and wish you the best. Anything to say before we close?
No, thank you very much. I really enjoyed. I wish it was face to face. I could have seen the audience and really taken questions from them. But it was wonderful to share my thoughts here. And I think SQC, Saudi Quality Council, is doing a great job, and we wish you all the best, and we wish all the best to participants who are connected online in their quality journey. My email is there with our friends in Saudi Quality Council. If any one of you want to reach me for any clarification, any questions, please feel free to reach. I'll be happy to provide any.
Thank you very much. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
مع السلامة. Thank you. شكرا للجميع. Thank you very much. See you later. Thank you. مع السلامة.